Hey guys, welcome to Clockwork, Dandy Noodles. For the final time, I'm going to be breaking down Solo Leveling, the first Cour. Of course, we've got that magical announcement that Cour 2 will be arriving some point this year. Probably going to be the autumn or winter season. This Cour was absolutely amazing. We did also have some leaks suggesting that there's going to be 6 seasons of Solo Leveling. The series is over. They've actually finished the last book. The actual series is done, so it makes sense that they can probably take the whole lot and crush it down into 6 seasons. If that is the case, you can imagine it's probably going to be a mainstay on the channel for some time. Very happy because I think this episode might have tipped it in a certain direction. It's the final breakdown. That means it's generally a longer video. It means at the end I will also give it a score out of 10. What I thought about this Cour as a whole. I'm going to go through bits and pieces what I think. Thank you so much if you have watched this season and you've watched all my breakdowns. It really does mean a lot. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed just hearing my thoughts and feelings on each episode as we've gone by, and I really do appreciate everyone checking in. I want to initially give a compliment to the voice actor because off the bat, this guy has done an amazing job. Now, beforehand, I looked into what he'd been in. He hasn't been a main in anything. He's been like lots of little tiny characters, been little support characters, but this is the first time the guy's been let loose as a main character. I think the guy has done an insane job. You can really hear the frustration in his voice when he's starting to get desperate. He can't give up, but there's too many enemies and he's on the floor and he's screaming. His voice at times can go from really light to very powerful, and I like it. There's a nice raw emotion within his voice. Off the bat, I need to give this guy a compliment. Thumbs up for me. If he's got 6 seasons now, he's definitely got a job for quite a little while as Jin. Hearing the voice too, when he starts to get all the voices in his head of all the people that he knows all starting to kick him down, I like this. I thought it was a really nice touch because as he was literally about to give up, he starts to, I guess, kick himself when he's down. And I think it's not really these people having these comments on him. I think it's all how he feels. It's more like he's imagining these people saying things that are his words. I feel crap. I feel like a failure. The fact that it's all just visualizations. I guess there's some magical elements to these places too that maybe it's possible to visualize these things and it kind of comes true, but I don't believe they were there. And obviously the next bit when you've got Jin and Jin, I thought that was a very clever touch. You are your own worst enemy at the end of the day. How you view yourself, how you view everything that's going on, you can either make and break your own self. You can hype yourself up to be great heights, or you can really knock yourself down to the lowest of lows. So I thought that was a nice touch. Now, I will say that this guy here, I don't know his name, didn't pick up on it, but he is kind of hot. And I just hope that this time he's not going to turn out to be evil, or he's probably going to die. But I think he's kind of hot. So there we go. Nice little kind of thumbs up to this guy right here. Now, we have got the Jeju Island stuff going on over the top. We've got a bit of information that this is the 3rd time they've gone back. And we've also been given the heads up that whatever is on this island, if they cannot beat it, it's going to be a game over. So obviously at some point, our boy Jin's going to somehow end up over there. And no doubt him and his shadow army is going to wipe the hell out of everything on there, which is going to be so awesome to see. But if anything, it does give you an idea of an end game. If that is where the show's eventually going to go, that one day Jin's going to be the one going over there to do it because maybe it becomes too much. But I guess that's the importance of having the Jeju stuff there because it does set up some kind of end game. The moment Dark Aria started to play on the piano, I have said that that's probably my favourite piece of music from Solo Leveling. I love it to pieces. It's so beautiful and it's just simple piano. Like, I think it's 5 notes. I think it's 5 notes in a descending scale. Really, really simple. And as he's laying on the floor and Jin is basically berating himself. You've got this negative Jin really kind of like having a go at him. It's playing and it's so beautiful. It's my favorite piece. Legit, the soundtrack to this show is just insane. If I am going to do a music award like I normally do, obviously tomorrow I'm going to be releasing my end of season award. I need to pick a music award, and I think it's going to come down to Kevin Penkin from Apoth versus Hiroyuki Sawano from this. That's going to be difficult. I'm going to have to think about that because I love both artists and I think they've done an amazing job. I will try to give just one award. I'm going to try and see if I can challenge myself to just give us one solo award. I love the work that's been done on the show with the soundtrack. I think with Hiroyuki Sawano, sometimes his pieces do sound very similar. I can hear Attack on Titan in certain bits and pieces of this. It does sound a little recreatory at times, but I think he's got a style. And I love his style, to be perfectly honest. I love the moments where he's got horns, he's got brass coming up, but the golem coming out of nowhere as well. You've got the horns starting to really kick in. The show gets a complete full marks for the soundtrack for me. So I have really enjoyed hearing Hiroyuki Sawano again. Really happy as well if that's 6 seasons under his belt as well, he gets that. I just love his music. I honestly, if he ever does a tour, and even if he doesn't come to the UK, I will go to the nearest country I can catch him in and I will buy tickets. He is one of the composers I have really, really wanted to go and see. I also really like the moment where Jin obviously lucks out and he ends up in the penalty zone. The penalty zone actually saves his life, which is nice, and he literally just drowns himself in all of those mana potions to heal his fatigue. I would have done the same thing. I also really like the wheeling and dealing in games where you can trade, buy new gear. There's something satisfying about getting new gear. Fantastic, I love it. Him getting new gear was nice, and he's just basically gearing up to go back for round 2, which I really, really appreciated. Really nice to also see him just powering up and getting new stuff. I absolutely love the new skill, and it's nice to see that we also saw it being used by Egress, so you get an idea of what it actually does. Use the force, manipulate something to come towards you. Like, there's a Coke bottle sat on my bed right now. If I could manipulate that to get into my hand, that's such a nice little idea. And the fact that it does need to be leveled at some point, that guy's going to be swinging some heavy stuff around. Such a cool skill, and to be able to see it as well in action beforehand is really nice. So the Sawano score starts to kick in once again as the timer starts to tick down. I also really like the sounds that the windows make and the system makes in general, the little clinks when things open. I don't know why. It's really satisfying. It's a really satisfying sound. Round 2 is absolutely awesome because he's coming back with a vengeance. I like seeing him just going around the room, literally kicking butt. It's nice to see him actually adapting his style too with the new skill, being able to summon it back. Learning via trial that actually I don't need to kill all these hordes, I just need to kill these 5 mages. That was such a eureka moment because you've been focusing on all these people, but the guys actually bringing them into the room are the mages, and it's so nice to see him throwing the dagger, getting it back without even having to touch it. He has become a Jedi Master, and I absolutely love it when we see the mages summoning, and it looks like they're summoning gates. Is this maybe a hint? Maybe this is how the gates are coming into the world by magic. Maybe it's all just a magical system. Don't want any answers. Don't spoil it for me. But I do believe that maybe there was a little hint there when the mages are starting to summon these little mini gates and all these people come through them, which is quite cool. Now, the moment where Jin is analysed at the end of the task, something is sentient. Something is judging him. Something in that room is just watching his every moves. I would love to know who the hell that is. The way that they judge his performance also starts to make me go, was it really possible to actually get any other outcome? Because it's saying, oh, this guy likes to rely on your ability by yourself, but there was no option to bring people with you. There's a moment where he also says, this is predestined. There's this argument in philosophy about fatalism, or whether there's a thing such as fate, or whether things just happen because it's programmed to happen in such a way. It is the most unique argument ever, and I honestly, if you ever get time, just go and start delving into the arguments for and against. It's really fun. I took philosophy at uni, so I had a lot of fun delving into the idea that, do you really have free will, or is how you've been raised, how you've already kind of interacted with the world, already gonna suggest that you're gonna take a choice? Let's say your favourite colour is blue and you're suddenly presented with 2 options and one is blue. You're going to pick blue. Is that really fate? You having a choice of free will, or the fact that you absolutely love this colour, you're going to pick that colour? So is it predestined that you're always going to hit that answer? Fantastic stuff. I love the fact that we also get that question too. Somebody is playing the system. Somebody up there is watching Jin and almost nudging him along, and it doesn't feel like he's got any choice. So when it's telling him, do you want to become a necromancer? And he starts to obviously talk out loud to himself, something is listening, and it hears him starting to doubt that necromancer would be a good choice. And it flashes a screen up going, by the way, this is a very rare secret class. It doesn't come up very often. Super rare. Get it now. Something there is like, you will not leave without choosing this. There's no such thing as fate here. Whatever was judging him knew what was going to happen, and it knew that it wanted him to become a necromancer. Also really cool. Do we really have too many shows where the main character is a necromancer? There's some. I can think of a few. It's not common. Necromancer is also one of those classes that I don't even pick very often. Most of the time I will go for something sword related. I'll go for something, I don't know, damage dealing. I won't really pick magic very often because I don't really like just standing there doing nothing. Is there really any rules that state that I really have to sit back and do nothing? Do I have to be a backline character? I could sit on the front, because I don't understand why we have these norms where he's clearly powerful as a frontline character. Why not do both? And I love that. I love the fact that, is there really any rules to this, which I think is great. I absolutely love the shadow animation when he starts to get that job change going. The one thing they could have done to make it better for me was suddenly having all of those lights around the end of the rooms go purple. That would have been a really nice touch, but I am not complaining. The show is associated with the colour purple anyway, and it's nice to finally see why. Purple as a colour is actually the colour of magic. I love the fact that that colour is chosen to represent this show in particular. Absolutely love the fact that it starts to add bonus points, and you can hear that really nice little chink as the windows go through, which I think is really nice little sound. Love the choice of the word. Obviously, I think this core has been called Arise anyway. The word that every single manhwa reader has been waiting for. It's a really nice word. Is it like Okiter? It just has a really nice ring to it, and it's really nice that as he starts to say it more and more and he's got a bit more power behind the word, it's such a nice word to say. I absolutely love the effect as well with all the shadows going around everything. I also do appreciate the fact that there's limited chances, so it's not guaranteed. There's a possibility that if you try to summon something and they're not interested, they're not coming back. I like that, because I guess that gives the souls also a choice as well. Egoist initially was like, nah. And it wasn't until Jin stood there and went, look, why would you want to waste your skills here? You know, you've been waiting and guarding this empty throne. I love the speech he delivers whilst holding his hand out and saying, come and serve me. I absolutely love that. And the fact as well that he also calls Egoist. He doesn't give him a new name or anything. He actually calls him by his real name, his real title. The way that the cape came out the back was so beautiful. I really like the design. The design for Egoist is beautiful. It's beautiful. I love the glowing. I love the glowing eyes. I really do like that effect in just general. So lots of full marks coming from me there. Really do appreciate just how he looks. And that red, the red from the, I guess the little bit the thing on the helmet, beautiful contrast. It's a colour pop by accident, but I really do like it. We also get a sound over this time around. Now, I know I dumped on it a little bit last episode, but this is how you do it. When you have the old guy going, one day like, we're going to have to start relying on people who are having these awakenings. We're going to have to rely on those skills. It all starts to line up with Jin, obviously, in his face. That is how you do a voiceover. That's how you do a really nice, seamless, have two things going on at once. That was beautiful. I can't even fault that, because it was lining Jin up to suggest that one day you were going to have to rely on this guy. I loved it. I actually really liked that lineup, but the way that the old guy was really powering it up, the music was powering it up, and Jin's face just, again, he's got the glowing of the eyes going on and the smile, because he's like, oh my god, this is my army. It really feels like a proper solid level up moment. You really do feel he's done a lot of work, and I'm so excited to see where the whole story goes. Honestly, I'm speechless. I thought this episode was absolutely amazing to watch. The fights, the moments of power, the moments of silence. We didn't need to see him doing the penalty zone, because we know that he just thrashes it anyway. Interjections with the guy talking to the hot guy, those moments like that. Obviously, we get the little hint at the end that whatever's on Jeju Island is starting to evolve, so that's not good. Lots and lots of cool things. I really enjoyed the episode, so we're going to go into my scoring system now. I'm happy also to give this one an 8.5. I really do enjoy it. It's probably going to get even better. Maybe I'm hedging my bets on the fact that it's going to get way cooler. I really enjoyed this series. Now, I didn't know what I was going into, and I have really enjoyed it. Been thoroughly impressed, because they always seem to add an extra element each time. You think it's set and this is how we're going to deal with a very powerful character, but here's a new buff, here's a new handicap. This time around you can't use any of this time you can't do that, this time you can't do this. Jin dropping that teleportation stone actually did him a favour, because it said did not use teleportation stone, so maybe he would have had some kind of reward at the end of it regardless, and he would have had some rewards. Perhaps if he had teleported out and he hadn't done the last bit, it would have still given him some, but it wouldn't have given him a whole whack of rewards. But I do think that this episode was solid. I think the last two episodes have been solid, so I've really enjoyed them. Honestly, really can't wait to see where we go. This show's awesome, the soundtrack's awesome, the art design's nice, and as somebody who's watched every single manhwa adaptation, this is hands down the best adaptation so far. and it gets me hyped. Tower of God season 2 is coming out, not next season, but the season after that in summer, and I'm going to be watching it, and I really can't wait to also perhaps break that down as well. But I've been following all of these manhwa adaptations, and this is the one that's really stuck with me, and it's the one where I don't really have too much to say, where all the other ones I've had something to say. I love Tower of God, but it doesn't look that great animation wise at times. I think this show has really become a stepping stone, a goalpost for manhwa, and hopefully it means that we're going to see more manhwa adapted in the future. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you really enjoyed this week's episode because it was so cool. Thank you so much for tuning in and supporting me, and it'd be great to maybe see you in the next Cour when that happens. I'll do it on a show in a few seasons time. Thank you so much for your continued support. I hope I see you in another video. Bye guys.